watching them. I appreciate the hell out of that. I've enjoyed making these ones. This is one of my favorite Outlaw Gunner series pieces I'm doing. You know, there's a few of them I've done, different series that I've done. You know, whether it be Outlaw Gunners. I love John Dillinger, clearly. A lot of content I've put out on him, his firearms, his exploits, etc. Doc Holliday, what's so interesting to me about it is he comes from a good family. His father being a war hero, fighting in the Mexican-American War as well as the Civil War. Good family, educated man. You know, like hustle and get into some trouble. Very similar to, you know, my upbringing in a sense, I guess. You know, I had really good parents. I just made a few bad choices in life as a kid later on. But, you know, as far as that goes, I'm excited about this. You know, the feedback I've gotten is awesome. I appreciate everybody so much. I look forward to dropping the rest of these videos for you. The full video will be soon. You can also go to my Patreon. The full video is already there for everybody that already has access. So again, much appreciation for it. You know, some more things about Doc Holliday coming up, and I will cover these in the videos, but they're just sneak peeks and fun stuff for you guys for this quick short. You know, with the Wild West, everybody talks about it's the reputation, it's the notoriety, it's, you know, that clout, everything along that line. Doc Holliday was really never looking for any of that. And that's what I've always found interesting about him, you know, as a character. Where you at, Charlie? What are you doing? Charlie wants in on this. You want in on this, huh? Huh? He's like, whatever. Anyways, but what's cool about Doc Holliday, guys, there's a lot of myth. You know, there's a lot of truth, like always, but he wasn't like Wyatt Earp. He wasn't out, you know, exploiting people. Really? You gotta pick the loudest bone to chew on. But, you know, his mother had died from TB. His adopted brother, Francisco, had died from TB. He ended up getting TB later on. And that's kind of what brought him to the West. But before that, you know, with his dental practice, because he graduated out in Pennsylvania, moved out to Missouri for a little while, and then out to Atlanta. Atlanta is where he started to get into some trouble. Now, there was a lot of Union military men stationed out in that area because, you know, the South was pretty chaotic at the time. Confederates, you know, just toppled. Civil War just ended. And so there was a lot of order trying to be reestablished. His uncle had a farm out on the Chattanooga River, and there was a hole they like to all go swimming in or whatnot. Now, whether this be truth, false, there's some always in between in the myth and the legend. This one, they had, like all farm boys, you know, love to go swimming when you're in your off time or whatever. He'd taken time off from his practice, headed out to go visit his uncle, whom he had been staying with prior. Charlie, really? This is what I got to work with, guys. My kids are better than a dog. Dog, usually it used to be the other way around. Anyways, Doc Holliday, some of his buddies and his niece were out swimming in the watering hole. Well, some African-American Union soldiers from the Army were out taking a dip. Now, being the racist South, or however you want to spin the story, we're just going to call it what it is, this. They say that Doc Holliday took his pistol out, fired 2 warning shots over their heads, scaring them off. I find that odd because, well, they're American soldiers. Now, that doesn't really mean anything. I mean, back then, you know, people in the Confederate South didn't necessarily care for the Union, nor would they like them on their land. They were trespassing. At the same time, also, being the racist South, slavery, you know, emancipation and all that stuff had just barely taken place. Is fairly new, only a decade tops at the time. It would have been 1873. You know, the story is also spun that the doc actually pulled out a double-barreled shotgun and shot 2 of the men, killed him, and had to flee Atlanta. Now, historians have tried to multiple times disprove this or prove it. There's been no other accounts other than the Doc Holliday's niece and friends, and all the stories tend to be conflicting. Regardless, he did leave Atlanta. He did head out west. Now, some say it's because he got tuberculosis. He figured, hey, I'm going to die anyways. Who cares? But he was only 22 at the time, so that's fairly young. Whether that be the case, he headed back out west. He began gambling and being a poker player. That kind of became his profession from that point. Whether it be tuberculosis, whether it be that he was running or whatnot, I don't know, but it fits the mystique. It fits, everything along the lines of the notoriety and what we're looking for in these Outlaw Gunner series stories that I enjoy making for you guys and kind of pointing out. Now, if there's any more information or anything like that you guys know of that I don't, please hit me up. Comment section below. Also, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. We've got a whole bunch of series. If you like firearm manufacturers, check out The Gunfather. Some of those I'm going to be redoing, especially like John Browning. John Browning is a huge hero of mine. I put him up there with Dillinger, as far as from the Outlaw Gunner series. Military, we have the GOAT series, greatest of all time. Not necessarily just Medal of Honor recipients, but other men who have other acts of valor or historical things, through the United States military. And then we also have the Marksman series, which is men who, throughout the last 2 centuries, incredible marksmen from different militaries, whether it be Simu from Finland, or it could be somebody so much as Chris Kyle, or whatever the case may be. Now, I'm not biased. I point out the bad and the good with everything. There's always the good, the bad, the ugly with all history. That's what we're going to cover here. Like I said, if there's any information or anything like that you guys have, feel free to hit me up, corrections to make. I'm always willing to go back, redact, correct, and I'll make a statement on that. As you know, my videos are always free. Unless you want to watch them early, then you can go to Patreon. YouTube also, unfortunately, likes to throw out commercials and do things like that, which I apologize for. That's what Patreon's for. Once again, though, we'll have that. We'll have some more firearm videos coming out for you. And then as far as that goes, also some mental health and stuff regarding epilepsy, living with epilepsy, shooting with epilepsy. It's a struggle I've had to make now, with the last couple of years. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I was incredibly ashamed of having epilepsy for the longest of time. But, now that is a thing. It's a brain damage that had taken place. But coping with it, living with it, and moving on. And we'll cover some of that stuff and how I've figured out ways around that in my life. And maybe it can help some of you out there that are going through the same struggles and problems. Thanks again so much for watching, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I'll have Single Shot Sunday and chatting with Charlie on Saturday and Sunday this week. And keep an eye out for the Doc Holliday videos, as well as some of the historical markers around the country that I visit, whether it be like I said, the security building where Dillinger robbed, or the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial in Pier here, or whatnot. You guys take care.